Welcome to Growth Diary. Need to know, for Master's Work Logic. I read a very heartrending sentence. If the cognitive level is not enough, no matter how hard you work, it will be useless. If the cognitive level is too low, no matter how hard you work, it will be futile. Cognition determines a person's depth of thinking, career height, and happiness index. Throughout our lives, we pay for our perceptions. The way of thinking is like a person's compass. Only when the direction is right can we ensure that efforts will not go astray. Real masters have mastered the following 4 logics of doing things. 1. Follow the 28th rule and distinguish between primary and secondary. In this fast-paced era, everyone is busy doing things every day. At the end of the day, I don't know what to do. Day after day, I gradually entered the vicious circle of busyness. The so-called busy work means that you can't distinguish between priorities and goals, and you can't find your goals. Dr. Sander, a psychotherapist, once cured a patient with simple methods. The patient was a senior executive of a large company in Chicago. Before coming to Dr. Sandel's clinic, he looked very nervous all over. He said that his office has 3 large desks. It is full of reports and documents. Things seemed to take forever, and it was driving him crazy. Sander only gave a little advice after hearing it. After going back, clean up the office completely. Only the most important files are left behind. After listening to the patient, do so. He sorted out the files first. Only 1 desk is left. There are important documents on the table. In this way, the work efficiency of patients is also much higher. In the subsequent work, as long as there are new tasks, the patients can complete the tasks accurately and efficiently. Without a mountain of work, his work intensity has been reduced, and his body has gradually recovered. Most people think that productivity can be created simply by doing things all the time. As everyone knows, being busy without knowing the priority of things will only reduce your work efficiency. The famous economist Pareto said, in any group of things, the most important only accounts for a small part of about 20%, and the remaining 80%, although accounting for the majority, are secondary. It is true that if we apply it to our work, if we want to make steady and long-term progress, we must focus on the 20% of the key points and run towards the goal, so that we can see the moon through the clouds and mist. In life, when dealing with people and things, we must see through the essence and grasp the key points. 2. Refuse empiricism, don't rest on your laurels. There is a saying in Book of Changes, if you are poor, you will change. If you change, you will be successful. If you are general, you will last forever. When people are in a difficult situation, they should not stick to their fixed thinking, and it is the best policy to know how to adapt. Teacher Shan Shan graduated from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. After graduation, through her own efforts, she successfully entered a well-known education company and became an English teacher. However, the sudden outbreak disrupted her rhythm. The company was not doing well, and she was also on the list of layoffs. After losing her job, her life fell into a trough all of a sudden. At the beginning, she lay in bed every night, unable to fall asleep with anxiety, thinking about the way out of the future as if she had watched a movie in her mind. She originally wanted to use her teaching experience to go to her hometown to take the exam and get a stable job. But at this time, she paid attention to the trend of Douyin live broadcast, so she changed her mind and made up her mind to build her own personal brand. At the beginning, her offline teaching mode was difficult to adapt to the online live broadcast. To this end, she studied the videos of many English big verses, learned their teaching methods, and then combined her own characteristics to create a unique teaching style. Because of her friendly appearance, clear pronunciation, and easy-to-understand explanations, she quickly gained fans on Douyin. Facts have proved that her choice is correct. Now she has more than 9 million fans and sells courses for 130 million yuan a year. As the saying goes, only by breaking the inherent thinking and opening up the pattern, things will have new changes. If you just stand still and rotate, you will not get new development after all. It is a good thing to learn lessons and achieve self-improvement. But if everything depends on past experience, you will fall into a vicious circle, and no matter how hard you try, you will not be able to find the exit. The world is developing with each passing day. If we do not update ourselves in time, we will be eliminated by the tide of the times without knowing it. Only by maintaining an empty cup mentality and constantly improving skills can we have the confidence to start all over again at any time. 3. Know how to leverage thinking and learn from others. The ancients said, "A good wind sends me to Qingyun by virtue of its strength." Shen Wansan, the richest man in the south of the Yangtze River in the Ming Dynasty, was just a poor boy who sold medicinal materials for a living before he made a fortune. Knowing that he was not good at eloquence, he invited his brother-in-law who could speak well to help him do business. "With the help of my brother-in-law, the business has gradually improved." At this time, he invited Qin Xiaotsai from the south of the city to help settle the accounts. Later, the business was booming, and more manpower was needed, so Shen Wansan hired people from different professions to manage the store, and he only took care of the overall situation. After accumulating a certain amount of wealth, Shen Wansan took advantage of the current market. Send the precious and scarce Chinese silk out of the country, bring overseas things into China, quickly accumulate wealth, and become the richest man in the south of the Yangtze River. Shen Wansan's road to wealth is inseparable from his ability to leverage strength. If you work behind closed doors and do things on your own, you can only take a narrow road. On the contrary, if you learn from others and borrow the strength and ideas of others, the road will become wider and wider. Only by mastering the thinking of borrowing power can we achieve twice the result with half the effort. On the one hand, we can make more friends and learn from their vision and way of thinking. On the other hand, we can also use large platforms to amplify our personal influence. Stones from other hills can learn. A wise person knows the principle of joining forces. Only by being good at taking advantage of others' strengths and making up for one's own weaknesses can one accelerate self-growth. 4. Avoid the cat-kicking effect and get rid of emotions. In psychology, there is a term called kicking the cat effect. It refers to that people who are angry usually choose to lose their temper at those who are lower than themselves or weaker than themselves, and the result is a series of chain reactions. There are too many people in life who are used to venting their negative emotions on those close to them and turning their faces when they disagree. Writer Zhang Defen once shared an experience of his own. She is usually busy with work, so she rarely has time to have breakfast with the children. This day, she was finally free and could have breakfast with the children. The daughter came to the table early, but she didn't see her son for a long time. Zhang Defen was in a bad mood because of work. When she saw her son's slow movements, she burst into anger instantly. She scolded her son angrily. "You see how slow you are. You wake up upstairs in the morning and spend so long moaning. I should send you to be a soldier and train you to move faster." His son was not happy to defend himself after hearing this, and Zhang Defen became even angrier when he saw his son talking back to him. The two of them are like this: "You say a word to me, and no one will let anyone else." When she went out, she heard her son scolding her sister loudly, and then she realized that it was her bad temper with her son that caused her son to vent his anger on his sister. After this incident, she began to reflect and learn to control her emotions. After deliberately adjusting his emotions, Zhang Defen said frankly that the relationship with his children has become closer and his life is happier. In life, everyone is more or less a link in the chain of kicking the cat effect. If you let the overflow of emotions, you will lose your rationality. In the end, not only will you hurt others, but the accumulated emotions will also be eaten back on yourself. There is a saying that goes well, most of the suffering in life is the poison planted by emotions. Learning to reconcile with negative emotions and maintaining a stable state of mind is the way of wisdom. Kanjiswalua said, "How strong a person's underlying logic is, then his ability will be as strong and his achievements will be as great." What determines the upper limit of a person's development has never been hard work, but the underlying logic. Distinguish the priority of things and determine the priority in order to get twice the result with half the effort. Reject empiricism and learn to draw inferences from one instance, so as to keep pace with the times. Only by mastering the thinking of leveraging strength and avoiding weaknesses can we break through the limitations. Only by maintaining a stable state of mind and digesting negative emotions can you be extremely happy. Life is not busy, there is a way to grow. 1 year is worth 10 years. For the rest of your life, I hope you master these 4 underlying logics and have a happy life. That's all for this issue. Thanks for listening.